12 seconds and 10. The crowd getting louder and louder. Listen to them. Here it is. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2000.
Have you ever made a New Year's resolution? Have you ever taken the concept of one seriously? Or do you scoff at the idea of it in the first place? There are many purposes for New Year's resolutions, and many more reasons for why we engage with them. Some do it for self-improvement, others do it to break the monotony of everyday life, and more see it as a personal challenge and a promise to oneself. In that if you succeed in your goals, you've not only proved to yourself that you're capable of change, but also expressing self-discipline and ingenuity. For 2024, one of my main resolutions was learning Blender. Or as I should say, relearning Blender. For those who are unaware, Blender is a free-to-use 3D modeling program. It can also be used to do other things, but it's primarily known for its 3D capabilities. I've actually used Blender before. Way back in 2017, maybe 2016, I don't really remember. I ended up downloading it as part of an online course. I think this was Blender version 2.8, I might be wrong about that. But it was back when the UI looked like this and not like this. I remember getting decently far into the course, but after some time, I just stopped. So fast forward to 2020, and we all know what happened that year. So while on lockdown, I decided to open up Blender again to give it another shot. This time around, I began fiddling with models from other games and making some simple renders, alongside making a few original simple objects. It also helped that during this time I began to use Discord, which introduced me to communities that I could post my own stuff in and get feedback. But just like last time, after a couple of months, I just stopped. Did I get bored? Was I depressed? I honestly don't remember. But I saw some mention around this time was when I started getting back into doing art and doing it digitally. And then the following year was when I was starting to take my YouTube channel a bit more seriously and making more videos. New artistic endeavors at the cost of leaving one behind. So came 2024 and I decided to give Blender another shot. First, same as the first, I did some tutorials, made some of my own models. But like last time, I started to slow down. I began opening up Blender less and less. That New Year's resolution was once again taking the back seat. Something needed to change. For the past 4 years, I've been working towards getting my bachelor's in digital media, which encompasses graphic design, photography, video production, etc. And it was around the fall of this year where I enrolled in my final class. This class only had one and only one project, something akin to a thesis project or a thesis film, a project we had to work on over the course of 4-ish months. And it was at this point where I decided it was now or never, putting forth the idea of making a 20 to 30 second animation for my final project. The professor approved it and off to the races I went. I created a project timeline that I would try my best to adhere to. I had to conceptualize what I wanted to do, design my characters, make a model seed, figure out some coherent art direction, work with textures, unique shaders, and figure out how to rig and animate a character which, up to that point, I had no experience doing any of that. I had 16 weeks to pull all this off or I would fail the class. The following months would become some of the most silently stressful but also personally fulfilling times of the past few years of my life. By October, I was experimenting with shaders, perfecting my model, and starting to work on layout. It was very much a fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants experience. I encountered word problems, got frustrated many times, and would sometimes resort to trial and error if the internet didn't give me an answer that worked. Rigging and the IKs were probably the biggest headache. I followed Joey Carlino's Rigging for Impatient People video as reference, which by the way, the video is a good source of information. But not everything came out one-to-one. When I tried to mirror the IK, I think it was the left leg, and I tried to mirror it over to the right, it caused this weird glitch where the leg would kind of crumble in on itself. I tried multiple different things to fix it, but they all ended in nothing really happening. So I decided to just do the right IKs manually. I also tried to do the IKs for Nebula's arms, but it didn't look right, so I opted to not do it for Nebula's arms. By the way, yes, that's my character's name, Captain Nebula. Say hi, Nebula. I also have another funny story with the IK legs. When I was starting the animation section, my idea was I wanted to animate the legs to move in a little. But when I keyed the legs for animation, they would automatically just start moving and they would move infinitely even when I didn't key them. I remember searching the internet for like half an hour, trying to find a solution, applying solutions, realizing they didn't work, retracing my steps, and it was just an endless cycle. Until I found the solution to the problem was just unchecking inherent rotation and turning on local location. And after that, the legs, they moved the way I wanted them to. Problem solved. But you're probably asking, why are you making this video? Why are you telling me this story? This seems out of place, especially if you're familiar with my channel. Well, it's because this entire process, working on this entire project, got me feeling a way about creation and creating art in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. It made me shut away my nagging feelings of perfectionism when working on really anything, where I get mad when something that I work on isn't turning out 100% the way I envisioned it. Like when you're drawing and you're getting frustrated at your sketches when sketches are meant to be ideas in their roughest form. They're meant to be blueprints, not the final product. Mistakes are allowed to be made. Things can always be revised. They don't have to be perfect. Working on this took me back to my childhood of me doodling in my notebooks, not really caring for how accurate my drawings actually looked, but just enjoying drawing for the sake of drawing. Not really caring about everything being 100% perfect. And that failure is just a part of the process. Nobody really gets it right on the first try, and the journey to honing one's skill is never perfect. Sometimes you need to make 15 crappy drawings in order to get one decent drawing, but still making it in a way that's 100% satisfactory to me, and also my professor, since this is a graded project after all, which despite its flaws, he still liked it. This animation isn't perfect, and I'm okay with that. But that doesn't mean there aren't some things that can be improved. The model for Nebula, for example, is like pretty much made up of sticks and glue. There are certain parts that I didn't fully model mostly because the camera wasn't going to be able to see it, so I didn't really put any effort into those places. And also there are some little weight painting issues as when I move her arm right here, you can see like a little bit of the belt moves up. You can actually see that in the final animation. I didn't change that, or I may have changed that. I don't know. Depending on how this gets released. I specifically designed this entire project to be something that was achievable not only to my skill level, but also my time management. Small amount of assets, one character to design and animate, and a short runtime. Perfectly within my reach. So that begs the question, what's next? One of the main reasons I took up Blender in 2024 was because I was inspired by the recent influx of indie animation these past few years. 2024 alone was a pretty insane year for indie animation. I was inundated with so many pilots, end-of-semester thesis films flooding my recommendations. It was definitely awe-inspiring to me, and I wanted to join in on it in a sense. But that leads to another question. Will we be seeing Captain Nebula on this channel again? Maybe. I do have some ideas for her in the future, along with other characters I would like to design and show off. But I'm still thinking about whether to put that stuff here or on another channel where it can breathe and be its own thing. This whole animation thing is still new to me, so I'm still thinking things over. And lastly, will I be putting down Blender again? No. At least not anytime soon. I feel for the past few months, I put way too much time into this program only to leave it behind and let it sit on the sidelines again. I'll still continue to create in Blender at my own pace. Who knows, maybe I'll integrate it into future videos and maybe even other projects. This video was meant to be a little therapeutic in a sense, sharing my thoughts in a format that someone out there in the audience might relate to. I hope that what I said throughout this video, someone out there can find value in it. Whether they're currently working on their own stuff or they might want to get started working on something new, and they might not be sure how to start it or continue it or what they might be in for. I unfortunately may not have completed every New Year's resolution on my list, but it does feel good to check off at least one of those boxes. I don't know if this will be the last video I publish this year, but if it is, I won't be mad. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around and hearing my story. And I'll probably see you around this time next year where I talk about how I spent 2025 learning and failing at making music or whatever. Who knows? That I might make that my New Year's resolution for next year. Anything can happen.
It really is. It's a wonderful moment in everybody's life right now. Passing the old year into the new year. Everybody with their high hopes, full of optimism. And why not? This is how you begin your life. Begin the new year of your life. Let's hope it stays just as happy.